This is Seb Zito. We're here in East London in the studio recording for SBTV. This used to be my bedroom. My parents are still there, they still live there. This is where I grew up, in the heart of London. There's so many clubs that have closed over the last sort of 15 years. So the End Club was like a stone's throw away from where I grew up, where my parents still live. And it's been shut for 5, 6+ years, maybe longer than that. But anyway, it wasn't the first club that I went to, but it's one of the clubs where I have sort of fond memories. It's the first time I heard Enzo play. He played for Jaded. Just after they moved from the Egg, they went to the End. It's a place where you build relationships, and you know, when something like that is taken away from you, it's like losing a friend. Growing up in London, there wasn't really much to do as a kid other than knock about on the streets, but
yeah, we used to play football down here. We used to lock off the road with cones.
It was fun, it was exciting, it was dangerous, it was everything, you know. You had to grow up quickly. You're exposed to everything that's positive and negative about this city. London's probably the most multicultural city in the world. I think for music, it plays an important part, like especially for what I grew up on, you know.
My dad works just down there, he still works there now. This is the inspiration behind my label.
But luckily we had a youth club in Covent Garden, and that's pretty much where I started DJing, you know. My mum used to work there as when I was a kid. I'm going back to when I was like 4 or 5 years old. She used to work there with her cousin. So all the families would go to Seven Dials. Like, so you'd have the parents drinking in the pub and the kids playing in the youth club and nursery. So, you know, that was it was a social point for us all at that time. But it's changed now. It's changed. In the mid-90s, it burnt down. Whilst we was in there playing our records, we was in the building when the fire started. The youth worker rushed us out, and as we was coming out of the fire exit, me and my best friend ran back in to save our decks and records. Grabbed whatever we could and fucking just got the hell out of there, man. You know, when I look back at it, it's what a stupid thing to do, but you know, we didn't even think about it. We was just like, that's our pride and joy, that's our life right there, and we wasn't going to let that burn down with that youth club. And that was the end of the youth club as well, unfortunately, at that point. But yeah, you could say we risk our lives for music. Man, we had these crappy SoundLab belt drive turntables. They were terrible. We were skilled in using those. We mastered those decks. We didn't care how heavy the records were or the decks. Like, we used to take the 2 turntables, 2 box of records, a mixer, and a crappy sound system as well, like just a crappy hi-fi, and take it down. Like, a couple of mates would help us take it down to the youth club. But that was dedication. That was just our love. You know, we loved it. We loved playing, and we was playing to our friends as well. Like, we even had our own little crowds, you know. And that was from like 13, 14 years old. It was good fun. It was really good fun. It was something different. It was something new, and it was exciting. And it was something that I wanted to be a part of. That youth club definitely plays a big part of my life, and also my kind of the future of my career, really, in music. When you come out of Covent Garden Station, walk down right on the corner there where the Apple store is. That used to be Gardening Club, and we used to go there on a Friday night. I'm going back to when I was about 17 years old. So that was like one of the clubs that I used to go to. Another one was Club Coup Coup Club in Leicester Square. I used to spend a lot of time in Coup Club, basically because it's the only club I could get into, man.
Yeah.
I looked young back. I mean, I was young, but I looked young. I looked about 10. I didn't even go to St Charles College, but my friend used to sell ID cards from there. So that's how I used to get into all the clubs. And obviously you had the Hippodrome as well. Sun City did an event there in '98. That's now Casino. Yeah, that area, obviously it's like a 5-10 minute walk from where I lived. So, but back in the 90s, you had Gas Club, you had Coup Club, you had Hippodrome, you had Capital, you had Gardening Club. There were so many clubs you could go to back then that played. It was garage back then. Before it got banned from the West End, used to go there for garage raves. In the 90s, it was heaving in the 90s for cool underground music. That was the first time I heard Creed at Coup Club. I was a regular there. That was like on my doorstep. Yeah, Bagley's was another club that I used to go to. I didn't know where it was. I couldn't find it. I was like, what the fuck? The first rave I went there was a jungle rave on a Friday. I wasn't really into jungle. I was more into garage, but I remember just sweat dripping from the walls. I remember guys used to go around selling ice poles, like for £1. You used to get an ice pole for £1, man. I didn't drink then. I used to smoke and just eat ice poles. I remember just eating ice poles in a rave. That was Bagley's, and then to the left of it was the Cross Club, and then the Key. That was a huge for electronic music. That was like
the main hub for the house and techno scene, and before then, like hardcore, jungle and garage.
Not just in the 90s, but also for kind of like early 2000. Unfortunately, that got shut down as well, that whole area, and it's changed so much. We walk past there.
This is King's Cross, York Way, just there. This here is developed and changed so much over the last 10 years. It was pretty much derelict around here. Like you didn't have these restaurants and bars. Everything's changing. All the clubs are closing down for properties and restaurants. There's a Waitrose, man.
I mean, there's a Waitrose there. Like, I think back in the day, you'd be lucky to see in Iceland, let alone Waitrose, you know? But yeah, it's changed a lot.
It was a dump, really. It was a dump. King's Cross was a dump.
Turnmills was also another one of my favourite clubs that I used to go to a lot. Me and my friends used to do a party just down the road from there at Dust Bar, and we approached Trace from Smarty Party. After like 3-4 parties, we approached him and was like, look, we want to work with you, can we take one of the rooms at Turnmills? So he gave us the T2 room. That was the first room you'd walk into when you go down the spiral staircase. And the party kind of finished, but he offered me a residency. I played for him, for Smarty Party, for 5 years. That's where I pretty much learnt the start of my trade as a DJ, you know, because it wasn't just one specific sound that I played. I played everything from house, funky house, little bit of garage, not much, going into tech house, minimal, progressive, you know. There was like 8 rooms, and each room had a different kind of sound, and he used to rotate me. I learnt a lot from that place. Like, I understood how to play to different crowds and to different people and different sounds. So that was definitely a starting block of me kind of fine-tuning myself as a DJ. And unfortunately, again, that place got shut down.
Dance when the record spins.
For a couple of years, I was still buying music. I was playing at smaller parties here and there. At that point, I was going to Jaded, Cubicle as well, Secret Sundays. Also used to play for my friend's party, Underbelly. Used to do a few little parties with him as well. I formed my relationship and friendship with Enzo. Obviously, I heard him play first at the end for Jaded, and then I met him again at Space Ibiza. I went travelling, came back from travelling, and he started this party called Circuit, which was just around the corner from here, Home Bar. So Enzo invited me down to play for Circuit. The friendship formed from that, really. You know, I become a resident for Circuit
So we'd finish circuit at 3, start Platinum at 4, and then from Platinum we started Fuse at 93 Feet East. So we did Saturday into Sunday morning, and then the after party. You know, it was a mess, man, at the start. You know, we had all sorts, all walks of life would come down to this party. I'm telling you, like, people on day release from the nut house, from the local nut house. We never really expected Fuse to kind of blow to how it is now today. It was just an after party. I think the guys' main focus was circuit on the Saturday, but it kind of just naturally evolved within 6 months. It just blew up. But it was raw and it was new and it was different. You know, no one did a weekly Sunday daytime party. That was my home, 93 Feet East, and I think it was a home for many people. Pretty much everyone that's a Fuse resident started at 93 Feet East. You know, people called it church. It was church. It was my place of prayer on a Sunday. I love this place. I love it so much. I always knew that music was a big part of me. Like, even when I was at school, I knew I wanted to do that. Like, there was a point of leaving school where I applied for BT, an apprenticeship with BT, and I also went to go to Hammersmith to study sound design, and I got into both and I took the money. But I took the step later. 10 years later I took that step. It was just knowing what you want to do. You know, sometimes it takes people a lot longer in life to understand what their true calling is. And, you know, I handed in my resignation and I left BT, and, you know, I haven't regretted that at all since, and I've never looked back, because Enzo called me and was like, look, I have this date for you. You can either take it or you don't. It's up to you. You know, there's your choice. And I took that choice, and obviously it's been probably the best choice of my life, because, you know, look at me now. You know, I'm one of the main residents there. Enzo, he's so anal about sound, man. Don't get me wrong, I think sound is important, but he just takes it that next level. But that was one of the main reasons for the success of the party. You'd go in there and the sound was always immaculate. It was always perfect. It purred every week. And that was always down to him. That was down to his work, you know. Second is the door picker, which started off as Morgan and a few other people, but Teresa, she is definitely key to the success of that party, because you have to have people there that are there to party, and that's it. You know, we don't want people standing around on their phones. You go there to rave, and to rave only. That was it. And obviously the actual sound, the music that we played as well, very bass driven, and UK, it's very UK.